So Tell the Truth, Cenk, a 2-part documentary about work, solidarity, dignity, fairness, equality, unionizing, dignity, is still in the works. The first 46 minutes is out. You've probably seen all that. If you haven't, checked the description. There's links down there to watch. There's also a couple of clips. What you've seen up through minute up to 40. Yeah, okay. So you've seen from here to here. This is roughly where it ends. So it picks up. The next chunk I'm going to drop is this to basically here. So this is 46 minutes, and we've got another half hour ready to go. So that's a little sneak peek at where things are. Oh my God, look how much there is. So, yeah. Not sure if I'm going to blur this or not, but a lot of every single green one is a nested sequence, which means there's like sequences buried inside sequences and stuff. So, yeah. Our TYT's lawyer's looking at this going, okay, there's something there. Can we see any clues? And this goes on, this timeline here heads way over through a whole bunch of extra stuff that's like partially edited on that side of it. So chunk 2 is coming soon. This is mostly finished. I've got a lot of little tweaks to make. I really need to like buckle down. The sources post is dogging me. That's like going to be my big focus today. In fact, I'm not even going to do much more podcasting after this. I'm just going to bitch about healthcare for a little bit. So part 2 is dropping. It's looking like mid-April, second week, more than likely. I mean, I could put out what I have right now, but there's a few pieces I want to re-record. I got to do the VO for that, and there's just got to make sure that it's done. I did this one in such a freaking hurry to get this out on the date that I got it out on. Computer problems, and I just sort of had to force myself to finally actually pull the trigger on that one to get it done, because if you keep making excuses, it might never happen, and that could, I don't know, whatever. The point is, it's out. It's not perfect. There's actually one part that's even missing some dialect, where it's the Matt Taibbi and Katie Halper talking to Cenk about journalistic ethics, and I say even ball kicking, and that voice isn't in there. You don't hear it.
So you covered any way you like. I mean, I'm super proud of our very, very independent, strong-minded reporters at TYT Investigates. They've broken some wonderful stories. So they're free to investigate anyone they like.
So unlike Mike Bloomberg, if one of your people decided to just sort of kick you in the balls at the Young Turks, that'd be fine. That'd be fine, right? They're allowed to
Absolutely.
do that? Okay.
Yeah. He welcomes their ball kicks.
Yeah.
So you covered any way you like.
Some wonderful stories.
So they're free to investigate anyone they like.
Even ball kicking?
So unlike Mike Bloomberg, if one of your people decided to just sort of kick you in the balls at the Young Turks, that'd be fine. That'd be fine, right? They're allowed to
Absolutely.
do that? Okay.
Yeah.
He welcomes their ball kicks.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I'm looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Right.
They're pretty tough on folks. So,
Right.
but yes, we're independent media, so no holds barred.
No holds barred, huh? Well, it's like, how did I mute that? Because that's what you're supposed to pick up on when you watch a video before posting it. But I didn't do that because I was rushed because my computer was breaking on me. So the most important video I've ever made, and I didn't do a preview watch. It's just so stupid. So I'm gonna try to take not my time per se, but I want to do this one with a little bit more, care in a sense. So chunk 2 is coming soon. After I get this podcast posted, after I get the sources post done, and I'm going to update all my links and all of my posts with that. I feel like that's an important step, because even though I know I'm credible, even though I know where I'm coming from, a lot of people are being introduced to me for the first time. They're going to hear me ramble about eating old chips and think I've lost my dang mind, and they'd be right. But I want people to kind of see the extent of the research I've done, or at least have their own ability to go look at all the clips that I'm sharing and look at all the stuff in the government documents and the tweets and all that stuff. So, and especially I think at that point, it'll be somewhat validating to share with reporters, I'm hoping, even though I honestly am not really all that sure what I'm doing. I probably come off as amateurish and not professional and all that stuff. So that's an inhibitor. Yeah. which is fine. I mean, I'm kind of a personality offer, you know, I'm trying to offer up sort of a personality on along with this whole project as well. That's what I'm doing with podcast. I mean, isn't that what everybody does who does podcasting, basically, who's a comedian or whatever the fuck? So I guess, I mean, it's like, I feel like I'm embarrassing as a person, but I have to, if I try to regulate that and not be embarrassing, if I'm not myself, then I don't come off as an authentic person, but also I'm just going to end up disappointing you, even if I do get through your barriers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It just feels weird. This is like the sense of self stuff you have when you're, you know, struggling with that concept in a lot of ways. So I am constantly feeling that imposter syndrome thing for sure. Actually, in this video that's up on the channel, I had, here, let's watch it real quick. Edit. Okay. This video, first of all, this is the ethical dark web breakdown I did. This is from the last podcast, but I added a bunch of stuff to it. There's a montage of Sahil letting it rip when he was, you know, towing the company line there against the union busting, not even trying to call him out. But I ended up, there's so much more to it than I realized. So I just made like a little montage. But this opening chunk here, settings are crap right now. So this like foggy background is just this really cool Da Vinci generator. It's very amateurish from like a kind of a crappy graphics you might find in a documentary maybe, but it's got a lot of cool controls. So I just played around with it, and I kind of want to do this thing where I'm like where I edit the podcast into clips, but I edit those clips into sort of being kind of documentary style almost. Like I'm sort of producing the video as I'm working on all these clips. That's one way I can probably maintain forward momentum on the video while doing the podcast. So it almost requires, and I'm thinking, I got to think this through a little bit more, but like essentially, especially after I get the second chunk out, I might do some live streams, but I might do like podcasts, or I might just start to really produce the video as a public thing. I mean, it's essentially what this whole notion is the public phase versus the private phase, right? So been working on it in secret, all sad and melty, and now I'm still gross and stuff, and eventually it will have I'll become a butterfly, and that's when I get to build 7 pizza ovens for my gaggle of grateful kitchen wives, which is my dream. But I decided to make this one kind of a thing, and I had originally titled this "Tell the Truth, Jank Filmmaker," Hank, and so I'd called myself a filmmaker. Here's what it looks like. A question here from Dickie Knuts. I assume the K is silent. Sorry if I'm upsetting your ancestors. 2933. This was great. I forgot this chapter in the jank. Okay. So it slows down the start of the video. It takes 15 seconds. It's probably a dumb idea. dumb way to start a video. It's got the cheesy, smoky graphics behind it. Just mute it real quick and play. I really did I love playing around with some of the Da Vinci Resolve stuff. Actually, this is that ethical dark web stuff coming in. So, but I had called myself a filmmaker, and I just felt really uncomfortable calling myself a filmmaker, even though I aspire to be a filmmaker. I want to be a filmmaker. I know some people go to film school and then they work on films and they make films and they have a whole, and I'm not even judging the ones that are a little cringy and annoying about it, because God damn it, that's fucking cool that you're pursuing it. I always have, so you're annoying, big deal. Go be annoying, make cool art, make shitty art, keep trying. You say what you got to say. Become a dickhead in the system that we all are trying to somehow carve a little niche into. It's whatever. It's fine. You're trying. I hate it when people just dismiss people for being somewhat earnest or being a little annoying during a phase of their life or whatever. That's all okay. It's all part of the drill. Point is, I don't remember, but those people I think can rightfully call themselves a filmmaker. The ones that are submitting to film festivals and they make films and they're filming and making, whereas I think I could probably claim that term, but I feel like that's a term you apply to yourself. It's odd, but that on the other hand, so what? It's not what we're thinking it clearly, but it fits the joke of me wanting to be a filmmaker. Just pretend you're a fucking filmmaker and make a film and call yourself a filmmaker. I'm part of the story anyway. So it sort of fits in with the way that that joke kind of conceit could be delivered, and then it becomes like, well, maybe I just make fun of it, like make little jokes about calling myself a filmmaker, like esteemed film, like exaggerate it so much that, but that just draws attention to it. So these guys, this is the struggles us filmmakers face. We don't, should I say, award wanting filmmaker? That's a little bit funny. Not so much ha funny, but it's not zero funny. Not zero funny would be a title for an album, for a comedy album, honestly. I missed him in fucking stand-up, goddamn. Okay, so, oh boy. Yeah, so keep an eye out for part 2 coming soon. Part 1, the full version. This chunk 3, which I was going to release separately. See, it says with full version now. So originally I thought maybe I do all 3 chunks and then I do the full version, but the final bit will be like this next major chunk. And if you follow this podcast, if you're up to speed with me on all this stuff, you'll probably pick up on all that. Meaning you'll probably kind of know what's going to be in this full version anyway, because I'm more than likely going to be talking about what I'm putting in it and everything. But I might keep some of it, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. And maybe if I go on some other people's shows, I'll end up talking about stuff that's coming up. I don't know if there's really spoilers to protect in this whole thing. Like I sort of have this notion that there's some narrative reveals that are choices that I'm making in order to tell the story the way I feel like I'm choosing to tell it. And so in that sense, I'm like, oh, that's a spoiler. That's kind of a spoiler. But on the other hand, the purpose of this is to try to get this information out and to get people interested in the story and to get people to hopefully want to support me in telling this story and correcting the record and, doing all that stuff. That's pretty important, and hopefully learning something about capitalism and union organizing and all that stuff. So in that sense, I lost the train of that thought there. And then this whole part 2 is this other freaking thing that might just be like a 4th chunk or its own separate thing, depending. That's the TYT could. I mean, what's interesting about this whole project is that TYT is very much a partner in this story, whether they say anything or not. And they haven't, by the way. Didn't go all the way. They haven't said anything yet. I would be stunned if they don't know. Again, I'm going to keep saying the same things over and over here until they actually do respond. But this is a story they should correct. They should correct the record. They have not corrected the story, the lie that they told their audience. They have not corrected it yet. Now that I'm doing this and making this stink about it, my channel's up to 580 something subscribers, which is more than double what it was a month ago. And I'm a nobody. I have no reach. It's unlikely, but so it's too early to say they know for sure, I think. But considering that they're also tapped into Cenk follows me on Twitter. Tons of TYT people know me, know my shit, and see and there's no way that they don't know. I'd be stunned if they don't know about this by now. So yeah, I'm just going to keep calling them out. You guys got to tell the truth, man. Tell the fucking truth for once about this. Then you're going to let this narrative that Nancy Pelosi originated this union, that your Democratic establishment opponents were out to get you in your political campaign. You're going to let that narrative hold without addressing it now that someone's calling you out for the lie. It was a lie. You cannot lie anymore. It's over. It'll feel good to say the truth, Cenk. Just tell the truth, motherfucker. It'll feel okay. You don't have to carry the burden anymore. You're free. You're free. So, because it's getting out there, man. You guys gotta tell it, correct the story. So it's a living and breathing thing. So whatever TYT decides, however they decide to respond, and it might be a cease and desist or something like that. That's all going to be in upcoming parts. So I don't really know where that goes.